Do we have alien tech? Well, we have a video here of Joe Rogan and Katt Williams talking about this, and it's basically straight out of Wikipedia. Let's get right into this.
Did you ever read, you ever heard of Zecharia Sitchin?
No.
Zecharia Sitchin was a biblical scholar who he deciphered the Sumerian texts, and he was like an expert in language. And when he deciphered, he might not have been a biblical scholar, might have just been a language expert. But either way, he deciphered these texts and wrote these books about the real meaning behind everything they were saying. And he said that the reason why we are so fascinated with gold is that the Anunnaki literally would have us mine gold for them because they needed it to protect their atmosphere.
So they use gold to protect their atmosphere? Okay, explain.
So what they would do is take gold, which is a very rare in what it does. What gold can do is you can take a little piece of gold like this big and coat this entire table. It's real weird.
Right.
So you could turn into a fine dust.
That's
and
true.
They suspended this fine dust in their atmosphere.
You could eat it
to protect them from a degrading atmosphere because they were getting global warming or whatever.
Everybody that was.
He wrote about this in the 70s.
In the 70s.
It doesn't matter because everybody in Egypt knew it.
But who's this guy?
Like, this is where the alchemy.
Yeah, that's where it all originated.
Right.
Well,
like,
we don't even know what they knew.
He's
none
helping
of
him out.
those people are
This
saying,
guy's nervous.
hey, I came up with this shit. They're saying.
Right, somebody gave it to us.
Somebody who came from this place here came and told us that this is how this goes and this is what this is worth.
Yeah.
Because I'm saying the people that were being abused in the mines going to get the diamonds, it wasn't like that for them. It was just them getting these rocks. And this crazy guy's going to pay a day's wages for us to gather rocks. Let's gather them.
Wow.
You know, this is... But when you follow back, it's all
let's talk about
the
alien tech.
And at the top of it, nobody's trying to claim it. Like, nobody's saying...
Right, I invented this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is wild. If imagine this, that's how we're getting most of our shit. Back-engineered stuff they leave for us. We have to figure it out, sort through it. The people that have alien technology, if the people that do have an alien craft that they work on, what a weird reality you must live in. The whole
You live in isolated reality. You can't tell anybody.
rest of the world's got guessing.
Yep.
And you got this thing in front of you, like, oh, it's real. We have one. I could show it to you.
That's how everybody in Space Force will have to feel, right?
Right, they must. How many of them you think see shit?
I'm saying, how do you think Elon Musk really feels? Like,
I don't think he's going to tell you.
no, I'm saying in his head, can he still have a superhero, or is he one of them?
Ooh.
You know, he's one of them.
Okay.
If you're the
Elon
richest
Musk
in
is
the
an
world and you're
alien.
also a super genius. How the fuck do you stop yourself from thinking you're a superhero? That's the big question.
No, it's
Is he a super genius? Did he take an IQ test?
not like that.
No?
No, it doesn't have superhero side effects to it.
I mean, you would probably think.
Like,
you're-
the more you know,
crazy.
the more you know how little you know.
That's true,
So
too.
there's not a, you know what I mean? And nobody has ownership on.
Is this
of
guy high or
information.
something?
That's why reading books moves civilization, because like when I said, like, you know, I read 3,000 books, people were like, yeah, right. But
3,000 books.
everything in life is about the environment it was grown in, the petri dish, right? So if I told you that from the time I was 8 to the time I was 12, I never celebrated any birthdays. I never went to a birthday party. I never had a Thanksgiving or Christmas. I never trick-or-treated. I wasn't allowed to watch movies, and I wasn't allowed to watch TV. All I could do was read. If I told you that, then you would understand that for 8 hours a day, I got 8 hours, and I can read, and I love to read. And so I'm reading books that are 250, 200 pages, and it takes me about an hour to read one. So yeah,
Takes you an hour to read
I'm reading
150
8
pages?
a day.
Probably blast
Like,
through
all
those
I'm
pages.
doing is reading, because that's what. So I'm checking out 20 books. The limit at the library is 20 books at one time. So I'm going Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, just because this is my thing. Like,
So you're getting 60 books a week?
minimum, because
What?
yeah, because I'm reading more than that, because I still have religious books that I have to read. So understand this is pre-internet first.
Right.
So
Okay, back
understand
then.
that in reading one thing that I'm reading, right?
Let's talk about the alien stuff.
This one thing that I'm reading is also requiring me to have this appendix book that is the source book that it's telling me it's getting these things from. And so I've got 4 books open at a time just for this one book. Like,
What?
but yeah, so first, I guess between 8 and 12, I can read classics and nonfiction. So I'm saying no novels or anything like that. I'm
Just classic books.
reading like Time Life has like 1,800 of these
Joe Rogan should have me on his podcast. We could talk about what it's like to start off with on YouTube with nothing, and grow a community, grow a channel. It's very hard. But we're not talking about aliens here.
individual books on all subjects of the world. And
So you just spent most of your time reading?
He probably still
not
does.
most, all of it.
All of his
All
time.
of your time reading. And then when did it
That was
pop-
my thing, because like
Just spit it out,
I
bro.
was able to be in each of these stories. You follow what I'm
Right.
saying? And I was getting so much information. Like half of those I probably had to write a 1-page report on after, But yeah, that was my whole
Thank you for the sub.
thing.
Sorry if I'm not showing chat
the
today.
numbers aren't even really accurate, because I read more than that. Because like sometimes I would read something and I wouldn't get it. Like there was this classic book called Little Women that I probably read it 4 times.
Yeah,
but I
nobody
just
gets
didn't-
Little Women.
I didn't understand it, and I knew it was a classic.
Why do I know
but
about that?
I never read it.
The
What's it
classic
about?
book. It's about Little Women. Nobody gets it. It was
you
on
read it, Jimmy?
Friends.
Some Little Women.
I was a kid. I just watched an episode of Curb where they were talking about it.
What is this story
Well,
about?
well,
They talked about it on Friends as well. So it looks like they're not talking about aliens at all. Just like the first little bit. I'm sorry about this, boys. I'm still posting it. I'm Joey. I hope you guys enjoyed. Subscribe to Joe Rogan if you haven't already. Peace out.